The wedding reception at the Riverside Country Club was everything Sarah had dreamed of: crystal chandeliers, ivory linens, and 200 guests celebrating her marriage to Jonathan Whitfield III. As her younger sister, I was genuinely happy for her success, even if I felt increasingly out of place among the Whitfield family's social circle. "Catherine, dear," Mrs. Whitfield approached me during cocktail hour, her smile polite but strained. "I hope you're enjoying yourself. This must be quite different from what you're accustomed to." I sipped my champagne carefully. "It's a beautiful reception, Mrs. Whitfield. Sarah looks radiant." "Yes, she's adapted wonderfully to our family's expectations." The emphasis on adapted was subtle but clear. "Tell me, what is it you do for work again?" Sarah mentioned something about administrative assistance. The misunderstanding had started months ago during wedding planning. When I'd mentioned working at the State Department, Sarah had apparently interpreted this as clerical work rather than my actual position in diplomatic affairs. The confusion had snowballed through subsequent family gatherings until the Whitfields genuinely believed I was some sort of government secretary. "I work in Washington," I said diplomatically, avoiding correction. The truth would sound pretentious at a wedding reception. "How nice. Government work is so steady." Mrs. Whitfield's tone suggested she found government employment barely preferable to unemployment. The Whitfield family has always been in private sector leadership, of course. Jonathan's grandfather founded Whitfield Industries, his father expanded internationally, and now Jonathan's taking it in exciting new directions. Her son's business accomplishments were clearly a favorite topic. "That's impressive," I said sincerely. "Yes, we're very proud. Which reminds me, the photographer will be taking formal family portraits after dinner. Since you're not technically family yet, we'll do the Whitfield family shots first, then add Sarah's parents for the extended family photos." The dismissal was delivered with perfect social grace, polite enough to avoid offense but clear in its intent. Dinner proceeded with military precision. I was seated at table 12 with a collection of distant cousins and family friends, while Sarah glowed at the head table with her new in-laws. Mr. Whitfield stood to deliver a toast praising his son's excellent judgment in choosing a bride from good stock, who would integrate seamlessly into their family traditions. During the main course, Jonathan's younger brother Marcus appeared at my table. Unlike his parents, Marcus had always been genuinely friendly, treating me as Sarah's sister rather than a curiosity from a lower social class. "Katie, I wanted to apologize in advance for my family's intensity about the photos tonight. Mom's been planning this wedding like a military campaign." "It's fine, Marcus. I understand family photos are important." He looked uncomfortable. "The thing is, she's insisting that non-family members not participate in the formal portraits. She doesn't want to dilute the family narrative for the wedding album." "Non-family members. As if I weren't Sarah's sister." "I appreciate the heads up," I said calmly. "It's not personal," Marcus added quickly. "It's just how Mom thinks about these things. Bloodlines, legacy, that sort of traditional approach." Traditional approach. Their polite terminology for social exclusion. After dinner, the photographer began organizing the formal portraits. I watched from the bar as the Whitfield family assembled. 3 generations of successful industrialists, all impeccably dressed and radiating the confidence that comes with generational wealth. "Beautiful family," the bartender commented, following my gaze. "Yes, they are." Mrs. Whitfield spotted me observing and approached with purposeful determination. "Catherine, dear, we're about to begin the family portraits. This might be a good time for you to powder your nose or perhaps step outside for some fresh air." Her suggestion was delivered with the kind of smile that left no room for misunderstanding. "Of course," I said politely. "Wonderful. The help doesn't join family pictures anyway. It would look quite odd in the wedding album, don't you think?" Several nearby guests nodded approvingly at this practical observation. Sarah's new family was simply maintaining appropriate boundaries. As I moved toward the terrace, I noticed Sarah watching from the photographer's setup. Her expression was apologetic but resigned. She wouldn't challenge her new mother-in-law over photo protocols on her wedding day. The country club's terrace overlooked manicured gardens and the river beyond. I was enjoying the quiet when my phone rang. An international number I recognized immediately. "Miss Chin? This is Ambassador Williams from the UN mission. I apologize for calling during your sister's wedding, but we have a developing situation that requires your immediate consultation. Ambassador David Williams, a career diplomat I'd worked with extensively on Southeast Asian trade negotiations. What kind of situation, David? The Malaysian delegation is threatening to walk out of tomorrow's economic summit over the proposed sanctions language. They're demanding to speak with you specifically before proceeding with any agreements. I sighed. Can't this wait until Monday? I'm afraid not. They've made it clear that without your input on the cultural implications of the trade restrictions, they won't sign anything. Your reputation for understanding regional diplomatic nuances precedes you. Through the terrace windows I could see the photographer positioning the Whitfield family for their perfect portrait. I'll catch the 10 p.m. flight back to Washington, I said. Schedule a breakfast meeting for 7 a.m. tomorrow. Thank you, Ms. Chin. Oh, and congratulations on your sister's wedding. I heard it was quite an elegant affair. Thank you, David. I'll see you in the morning. As I ended the call, I noticed someone approaching from the ballroom. A tall man in an expensive tuxedo with the bearing of someone accustomed to formal diplomatic events. Excuse me, he said politely, are you Catherine Chin? Yes. His face lit up with recognition and genuine pleasure. Miss Chin, what an unexpected honor. I'm Ambassador Jonathan Whitfield Jr. I believe you know my son. He just married your sister tonight. The father of the groom, who apparently knew exactly who I was. Ambassador Whitfield, I said, standing to shake his hand properly. Congratulations on Jonathan's wedding. Sarah is wonderful. Thank you so much. And please call me John. I've been hoping to meet you all evening, but the wedding festivities kept pulling me in different directions. He paused, looking slightly confused. I must say I'm surprised to find you out here alone. Shouldn't you be in the family portraits? Your wife felt it would be more appropriate for family members only. His expression shifted to one of bewilderment, then dawning horror. Family members only? Catherine, you're the Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for East Asian and Pacific Affairs. You're one of the most respected diplomatic voices on international trade policy. My wife has been talking all evening about wanting to meet Sarah's important sister from Washington. The silence stretched between us as the implications sank in. She doesn't know, I said simply. Doesn't know what? Your family believes I'm a government secretary. Administrative support. Sarah never corrected the misunderstanding and I never bothered to clarify. Ambassador Whitfield stared at me in disbelief. You've been treated as staff? The help doesn't join family pictures, I quoted his wife directly. The color drained from his face. Oh God. Catherine, I am so deeply sorry. Margaret has been. She thought you were. It's fine, John. Really. It is absolutely not fine. He was already moving toward the ballroom with the urgency of someone about to perform serious damage control. This is a diplomatic incident happening at my son's wedding reception. We entered the ballroom just as the photographer was capturing what Mrs. Whitfield clearly believed would be the perfect family portrait. 3 generations of Whitfield success, all smiling confidently at the camera. Margaret. Ambassador Whitfield called out, his voice carrying across the room with unmistakable authority. The photography session paused. Mrs. Whitfield turned with a social smile that quickly faded as she registered her husband's expression. John, dear, we're just finishing the family portraits. Stop the photos immediately. His diplomatic training kept his voice level, but the underlying steel was unmistakable. We have a situation that requires immediate correction. The ballroom had gone quiet, guests sensing drama but unsure of its source. I don't understand, Mrs. Whitfield said, confusion replacing confidence. Ambassador Whitfield gestured toward me with the formal respect reserved for foreign dignitaries. Margaret, I'd like you to properly meet Catherine Chin, Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for East Asian and Pacific Affairs, and one of the most influential diplomatic voices in Washington. The silence that followed was profound. Mrs. Whitfield stared at me as if I'd suddenly materialized from thin air. Deputy Assistant Secretary of State, I finished gently. I work in diplomatic affairs, not administrative support. Sarah appeared at my side, her face flushed with embarrassment. Katie, I'm so sorry. I should have explained better, but Mom got so excited about the wedding planning, and I didn't want to complicate things. Sarah, her mother-in-law whispered, Why didn't you tell us your sister was important? I suggested mildly. Marcus was grinning from the photographer's setup. This is going to be the best family portrait story ever. Ambassador Whitfield turned to the photographer with diplomatic efficiency. We're starting over. Complete family portraits including Ms. Chen, who is not only family but also the highest-ranking government official at this reception. Mrs. Whitfield looked around desperately as if seeking escape from her social nightmare. 200 wedding guests were watching her realize she just excluded a senior State Department official from family photos because she thought I was clerical staff. Catherine, she said weakly, I had no idea. Your work at the State Department is probably boring compared to wedding planning, I said graciously, offering her an escape from complete humiliation. Shall we take those family photos? I'm afraid I'll need to leave soon. International crisis requiring immediate attention. As the photographer reorganized the family grouping with me properly included, Mrs. Whitfield whispered urgent apologies while her husband explained my actual role to confused relatives. The final portraits turned out beautifully. A perfect family moment capturing the night everyone learned that assumptions about social status can be spectacularly wrong. Sarah squeezed my hand as we smiled for the camera. I'm proud to have such an accomplished sister, she said loudly enough for everyone to hear. And I'm proud to have a sister smart enough to marry into a family of diplomats, I replied, winking at Ambassador Whitfield. The help, it turned out, sometimes outranks everyone at the reception.